Taking down all your Christmas decorations and you're ready for a couple of new winter decor ideas? Well, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIYs and home decor and more. Today I have for you 5 cute DIY, really inexpensive and budget-friendly winter decor ideas. Now, if you stick around to the very end, you'll get a hint on one of the projects for next week. So, let's get started. And here are all 5 projects that we're going to be working on today. And let's get started with project number 1. I just think this little sleigh turned out so cute. Now, I don't know about you, but my Dollar Tree had a whole bunch of Christmas stuff on clearance, and I just thought this sleigh was so cute. So the first thing I'm going to do is to take off the little greenery stems that scream Christmas, and I am going to fill those little holes with this black and white gingham ribbon that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make that into a little bow. Now this was an ornament, and so you'll see on the back side it has that little ornament hole that I had cut out the string for, and I dovetailed the ends of that ribbon, and now I am going to take some white chalk paint and I am going to dry brush it all over this sleigh and kind of tone down that metalish look to it and give it kind of a snowy appearance. I'm going to make sure that I get it really nice and good on the runners and a little bit on the inside where you're going to be able to see once I'm all done with this project. Now I just thought this was the perfect size for a little tiered tray. So I'm going to take the 2 pieces of that hanger that I cut off, that little twine hanger, and I'm going to take some twigs that I brought in from outside, and I am going to make 2 little wood bundles to go inside that sled. Now, using these leftover twine pieces that I cut off of the ornament earlier just makes me realize that you never want to throw things away. They can always be used for something else. And you'll see the greenery over to the right there. I'm going to cut off a few pieces of that as well and tuck those inside that sleigh, and that's left over from a wreath that I made a few videos ago. And the last thing I'll do before I finish this piece is add a couple of those little tiny pine cones. And that brings us to project number 2, this cute little cork birdhouse. I am going to use one of these large craft sticks. This particular package is actually paint stir sticks that I bought at Home Depot. And I'm going to take off the rounded edge and then score the next 2 pieces that I'm going to break off. Now I scored them because this particular kind of craft stick breaks really easily with a pair of scissors. I didn't try anything else to cut it, but I'm going to just score it and break those pieces in half, and I trimmed off the edges so that it would be the right size for the roof, and I just used one of those trimmed pieces to give it a little perch. And I'm going to take a little black chalk paint and give it the illusion of a bird hole, and then I will start working on my roof. Now, first thing I'm going to do is take my little heavy-duty nail file, and I'm going to file down the edges and get a really smooth side, and then I'm going to take and angle the top 2 pieces so that they will be able to be glued together rather easily and be able to make that little arch that I'm looking for in the roof, the pitch. And once I've got that done, then I'm going to glue my little roof on top of my cork. And oopsies, got a little paint on myself.
And so I am going to get that cleaned off and fix that little paint hole there on the birdhouse. And now I'm going to glue my roof on. I always end up getting paint somewhere that it shouldn't be. All right, so now I've got my roof all glued on, and I'm going to take all these little extra pieces and I'm going to trim them down, and I am going to complete my roof front with these pieces. Now I'm sanding down the edges into an angle so that it fits nicely at the angle of my roof, and then I'll use some hot glue and I will glue those pieces down. I'm going to continue trimming those pieces and adding them to my roof until I've got the entire roof filled out. Now that I've got my roof all done, I'm going to cut a couple of these little greenery pieces and I'm going to glue them on the sides of the roof and give it kind of that woodsy, mossy kind of look. And once I get that done, then I will take a little pine cone and trim it down and add it to the front, and then this little birdhouse will be complete. And it is the perfect combination with that little sleigh to go on my tiered tray.
This far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And today we are going to comment the word of the day below, which is smile.
And now we're going to run on to project number 3. I just love the way these turned out. I am going to take a canvas and that I bought from Dollar Tree, and then I've got this tape that I also bought at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to kind of haphazardly put it on there in kind of angled lines. And I'm going to cut a piece of this painter's tape and I'll add that on. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we are making birch trees and birch trees are not perfect. But I am not a painter, and I thought that this would be a very simple project but very cool looking and gives us that whole wintry vibe going on. So once I've got that tape all secure, I'm rubbing it from the inside so that it's flat onto that canvas. I'm going to take some black chalk paint. Now I'm using black chalk paint in the color ink, by Waverly, and I'm going to give it just one coat all over, covering those tape pieces. And once I get that coat done, then I'll give it a little bit around the edges, just so that you don't see any white edges on my trees. And then I am going to take this tape off while the paint is still wet, and I think that gives it some really cool character. It kind of splatters the paint a little bit, gives it a little bit of neat kind of crackly edges, and makes it really look more like a tree, and gives it some dimension and depth. And then I will let it dry. Now, once this is all dry, you can either take your white paint marker, or you can take a fine brush and some white chalk paint and just start throwing out some branches on there. A little bit of branch here, a little bit of branch there. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a very cool, easy way to introduce yourself into the world of painting and making something really cool. So I'm just going to make my branches, and then when I get done with that, I will take the black chalk paint marker and I will add some little black lines into my birch trees, and then little snowy drops. And that's all there is to this project, and I just love it because it turns out so cute, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think it makes a cute little background to my tiered tray. And that brings us to project number 4. I just love this little cork snowball thrower. I think he turned out super cute. And so I'm going to start with a cork and a little wood bead. Now I'm going to take my wood filler and fill in the holes on both sides of that wood bead. The one side because it'll show on the top, and the other side because then it gives the wire that I'll use for his neck and the connection into the cork something to hold on to. So we'll get that all in there, and then we will take some of that wire and make him a neck. Now this wire that I'm using is just floral wire I bought on clearance at Michael's, I believe it was, and it's 12 or 18 gauge, I believe. And I folded it over itself a couple of times to give that neck some sturdiness. Now I poked my hole with the scissors, and I'm going to also add some hot glue in to give that some more stability. I will go grab a little screwdriver here in a minute, and I'll use that for poking the rest of the holes that I'll make. Now that his head and neck are secure, I'm going to take a little bit more of that wire, and I'm going to fashion him some earmuffs. And now that I have his earmuffs done, we're going to start working on his scarf. Now I am going to rip off a piece of this fabric that I took off another project that I did, and I am going to make him a little scarf. And once I get that scarf all secured on here and frayed out his little scarf ends, then we will move on to making his arms and legs. And now that his little scarf's all done, we're going to start working on his arms and legs. And in hindsight, I probably should have used a darker wire or doubled it up or tripled it up like I do on another project. But I am going to fashion him little feet, and then I will fashion him arms with little hands, and I am going to use a screwdriver to poke the little holes in the bottom for the feet and then the sides for the arms. And then you'll notice that little leftover piece of paint stir stick from another project, and I'm going to use that as his base to stand on. Now I do go in here and fold over that wire and make it a little sturdier so that as it goes into the little hole for the arms and the legs, that it's got something to hold on to. Now this will be his throwing arm, and I am going to use this bowl filler pieces for the snowballs, and I'll just take a couple of those out and pick the right size that I want. And I believe those came from Hobby Lobby. And now that his feet are steady and can stand up, I'm going to glue on his little earmuffs, and then we will get him on the little base. And once that's done, I'll take that last leftover little snowball and I'll cut it in half and make what looks like a stack of 2 snowballs on the ground next to him. I think he turns out so cute, and he looks awesome on my tiered tray. And here we are at the final project, project number 5. And I just think this little cork skier turned out so cute. So I am going to take one of those beads and glue it onto the top of the cork. And unlike the little snowball thrower, I'm not going to fill in the holes with wood filler, because we are going to use that to make him a large winter cap. And now I've got the cap, the thickness and size that I want it, and I'm going to take one of those little pom-poms and glue it right onto the top there and finish out his little hat. And then we will start working on his scarf. Now I'm going to take some more of this leftover fabric and cut a piece to make his scarf out of, and kind of unravel the ends a little bit to give it that frayed edge. And once that's all the size and likeness that I want it, then I will fashion it around his little makeshift neck and glue it down so that it stays in place. And then we'll start working on his skis and his ski poles and his arms and legs. Now the skis are actually craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. The ski poles are going to be made out of toothpicks, and then I will add some of that modeling clay from Walmart to make the little boots and the little ends. I'm going to trim these down, cut it in half, and then trimmed it down to make the little skis. Make sure they're both the same size and that it looks correct with his body size. And now I'm going to make the little pole ends and out of that modeling clay and just kind of measuring it up next to his body. Now on this little guy, I did go in with the black wire, and that actually is in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. So other than the cork itself, I believe all of his items came from Dollar Tree. Well, not the modeling clay, but you can find it at Dollar Tree. Now once those pieces are done and trimmed to size, I'm going to take some of that black wire and I'm going to fold it over in thirds, and then I'm going to twist it around itself to give it some stability. And you'll see I've got my little handy dandy pliers there, and I'm just going to cut this piece in half and bend his foot over and then bend him at the knees and make two legs. And then I'll do the same to fashion two arms, taking the piece and folding it over in thirds and twisting it around itself and make the arms. Now I'm going to take that screwdriver over there on the right, and I'm going to poke the holes in the bottom and get his legs in there, and then I will go ahead and glue those to the skis so that we can move on to his arms. Now that he's stable on his skis, let's make him some little boots. I'm going to take some of that white modeling clay and I'm going to kind of roll it out and get a good idea of the thickness that I want there, and then get his two little boots on him. I just love these little miniatures, and he just again makes the perfect addition to my tiered tray. And now it's time to start working on those arms. So we're going to take some more of that black wire, fold it over in thirds and twist it around itself. You can see how I'm doing that here. Then we're going to cut that piece in half and bend his little arms and make his little hands go around those ski poles, and then he will be complete. As one last final touch, I decided to take my black paint marker and give him some eyes. Isn't he adorable? And here are all 5 items sitting on my tiered tray, along with some items I made in some other videos.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do enjoy our time together. Now, since you stayed to the very end, let's get a hint on one of the things for next week's video. You're going to need some large craft sticks, a wooden heart or 2, and one of these cute little crates from Dollar Tree. Also, you'll need some chalk paint in red or white or pink or whatever your favorite Valentine's Day color is. But until then, make it a great day and Happy Tuesday!